ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. On this show, I'm going to do a demonstration for you guys. I'm going to show you about the masks, gloves, eye protection, Now, what I want to say is, I don't really think that in the United States or here in Canada, or possibly even in the United Kingdom, you really need to wear all this gear yet. But there is a possibility. At some point in the future, the danger level won't be low like it is now. Right now, there's just a few sporadic, isolated cases in Canada, United States, and in Great Britain, where most of my audience lives. But that could all change in the future. And I'm going to show you guys about protective gear. First thing I'm going to show you guys is the masks. This right here is a N95 mask. And, I've been using these masks since I've been 12 years old, when I was a kid, spray painting and things like that, and doing insulation in houses and stuff. I use these masks for years. And I'm going to show you. Here's the mask. I'm going to show you up close. Now, let me get it kind of, see, it's backwards in the film, and I'm looking at the film. Right here on the top of the mask, there's an aluminum piece that comes across right here. Okay? That's the most important part. What you do is when you put it on your face, you take and you bend this aluminum right here down around your nose to where you get a tight fit. And that's called fitting the mask. And you can feel when you have a tight fit because you'll feel that the air is not leaking. And each person is different. So this aluminum tab right here bends to fit each person individually. So you bend it when you first put it on your face. You grab it like this, and you kind of push down around your nose to bend it around. And then these side tabs right here, you kind of got to wiggle them around a little bit until it fits your face. Okay? That's how the mask works. So this is an N95 mask, and you might be able to actually get a better mask than this, but N95 stops most of the virus particles. Now, these are the kind of glasses you need right here. You notice that they have side panels on them. And these side panels right here protect the sides of your eyes. So when you put them on, let me put them on, okay? The sides of my eyes are protected as well as the front and the top and the bottom is protected with these shields all the way around. Okay, so those are that's the eyeglasses, the eye protection, to protect your eyes, the virus, keep the virus from getting into your eyes. So you wear the mask, you wear the eye protection. Now, the third thing that you can get, and these are items you can probably get at your local hardware store, is your gloves. These are the gloves. Now, these gloves are commonly used. You can get any glove that is rubberized. So you can use surgical gloves, they're rubber. You can use these like dishwashing gloves. As long as the glove is rubberized. It's that rubber that prevents the virus from getting through to your skin. Okay, and so these are the gloves I've got right here. And these were originally designed for washing dishes. They're yellow gloves. Now, I want to talk about something. It's no good to wear any of this gear or any of this kit. It's not going to do you any good if you don't use it properly. Just like anything, if you use a hammer, you can't use a hammer by holding onto the head of the hammer and trying to hit the nail with the handle. You got to know how to use a hammer. You got to know how to use this equipment to protect yourself from viruses. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. So it's not hard to figure out how to put that gear on. So say the virus, say you are in an environment where the virus might be. Okay? So now I want to emphasize in the United States, Canada, Great Britain right now, the danger is low. But say things change. Okay? And say you are going out into an environment that could be potentially hazardous. Okay? And you've got somewhat protection. Now these items are not going to offer you 100% protection. All they are is they're going to lower your chances of catching it a little bit. In other words, it's better than nothing. You know, uh, it's a lot better than nothing, to tell you the truth. But it's not going to protect you 100%. And especially where it's especially dangerous is that you could actually get the virus on these particular items, on the gloves, on the mask, on the goggles, and you could bring it into your home. So you could go out in the public out there, and you could actually get the virus on those gloves, and you could come home and you could actually aerosolize that virus into the air if you don't know what you're doing. Okay? So I'm going to be very specific about this. What you do is, the most dangerous part of this kit. So in other words, if you go out and you get the gloves on, you get the mask on, you get the goggles on, and you're going to get groceries, say, and you come home, what do you do? Well, the most dangerous part is the gloves. That's the most likely place that the virus would be on the whole kit, is the gloves. So you want to keep those gloves, and it's a good thing if you're going to go into an environment where the virus might be. Say there's people coughing or people might have the virus. Say the virus is spreading through your country. And the first place that virus is going to attach itself to is your hands. And it's a good thing that you're wearing those gloves, because that makes the tendency to wipe your face or put your hands near your eyes or mouth that much less, because you got gloves on. People do that unwittingly. They don't even know they're doing it. When they don't have gloves on in a normal environment, they touch their face, they touch their eyes, they touch their nose probably 20 times a minute. And they don't even know they're doing it. They just do it instinctively. But if you got gloves on, it helps to remind you not to stick your hands around your face. So when you get these gloves on, you don't put your hands anywhere around your face. You keep your hands down. So you get home. You go out, say you went grocery shopping. Okay, and you had your gloves on, your mask on, your eye goggles on, you get home. Well, what you do is, you get a bucket, and you put some disinfectant in the bucket, in the bottom of the bucket. Not so strong that it's going to melt your gloves. You don't want it that strong. You don't want it so strong it's going to burn your skin or anything like that. But you have a bucket, say out in your front yard, in your driveway. You got this bucket with some disinfectant down the bottom of the bucket. Park, maybe the bucket's near your front of your driveway. So you pull into your driveway, you got home, you get out of your car, and you go over and you have some hand wipes with you, disinfectant hand wipes with you. And what you do is you take your gloves off, and immediately don't touch your face with your hands, because your hands have been inside the gloves, are more sterile than the gloves. You drop the gloves into the bucket full of disinfectant outside your house. Don't go washing the gloves off with a high-pressured water hose, because you'll aerosolize whatever's on the on the gloves into the air. You don't want to do that. You don't want to take them into your house and wash them in the kitchen sink, because kitchen sink water is often under high pressure, and it could aerosolize. If you do have viruses on those gloves, it could aerosolize them into your kitchen. You don't want to take those gloves into the house. Those gloves, if you've been in an environment where the virus is, those gloves are going to be the most contaminated thing you have. They're going to be more contaminated than the mask or the goggles. So you want to take those gloves off outside the house, drop them into a bucket full of disinfectant while you still have your mask on and you still have your goggles on. So now the gloves have been eliminated. Your hands are bare now. There's no gloves on your hands. You go over and you grab some wipes, some disinfectant germ wipes, and you wipe your hands off all the way up past where the gloves were on your hands. So now you've disinfected your hands. Now you can take off your mask and your goggles. Now, I'm going to tell you about your mask and your goggles. They could be contaminated too, but not as greatly as the gloves were. It would be to a lesser degree, but they could be contaminated as well. So what you do is, my recommendation is that you don't want to ruin your mask. Now, if you drop your mask into the disinfectant, you're going to ruin it because it's only made out of like pressed fabric stuff. It's made out of, it's almost like a paperish material, kind of a cross between paper and fabric. You don't want to ruin your mask. You might be the only mask you have. Maybe if you're a millionaire and you got 1,000 masks, go ahead and drop it into the disinfectant too. But I mean, you probably don't want to ruin your mask. It might be the only one you have. But you don't want to take it into the house, because if you take it into the house, you're taking in something with you that might have the virus on it. You see? So what you do is, you take your mask off, and the best place to put it is someplace in the sunshine where the sunshine can directly hit it, and you leave it there for a few days. And the sunshine will disinfect the mask to a certain degree. There's probably better ways of doing it. And if anybody else has a better recommendation, that's great, but I wouldn't take it in the house with me. Maybe lay it on the hood of your car, or maybe tie it down underneath the windshield wiper of your car, and before you go into the house. If it's not raining outside, you don't want to get your mask wet. But it would be good to let the sunshine hit it, because these viruses probably don't live very long, maybe 3, 4, 5 days at the most, in an environment where they're like outside and the sun's hitting them. Sun kills them. Slowly but surely. If they're not inside a human organism, the virus in its own, it can only live a certain amount of time on surfaces. I think this virus is like 5 days it can live on surfaces. But you got to understand that most of the virus would be killed after 5 days. It would probably only be a few left alive. Probably 99% of it would probably, in the sunshine for 5 days, would probably be mostly gone, So the mask, that's what you do. You don't want to ruin your mask, but at the same time, you don't want to take it inside the house with you, because then you're messing up your interior environment as well, And the same with your goggles. Now, the goggles are probably made of a material that can be disinfected easier than the mask. A lot easier than the mask. The masks are hard to disinfect. I'm not going to recommend any methods to disinfecting the masks. You guys will have to figure that out for yourself, but I wouldn't take the mask inside the house with you, because then you're taking it into your interior environment, something that is possibly contaminated with virus. And a lot of people don't think about these things, Another thing is, when you're wearing a mask, you got to check around the sides of the mask, around the cheeks here, to make sure there's no leaks around the sides of your mask. And another thing to remember is, all this gear, the mask, the goggles, the gloves, it's not going to give you 100% protection against something that is an airborne virus. It's only a help. It's not a cure. This is not going to make it so that you're Superman, that you can go anywhere where these viruses are and you're not going to catch them. These viruses will, if you get closer to a person than 2 meters, which is about 7 feet, if you get closer to a person than 7 feet, these things only offer you limited protection. The only way that you can get closer to a person than 7 feet and not catch this is if you have a pressurized hazmat suit, because this is an extremely contagious virus. You know what I mean? But that being said, it's better to have some protection than to have nothing. Because with some protection, well, there's a chance you might not catch it. But if you have no protection, you're going to be catching it quicker, much quicker, if you have no protection. So this is how you use these items. Heaven forbid we have to use these items here in North America. Hopefully the danger stays low. Hopefully this virus does not make it here to North America, But if it does, it's probably best, to before you don't waltz into your house with your grocery bags with these gloves, mask, and eye goggles on, because then you're taking the virus inside with you. Best to dispose of it outside just before you go inside your house. Drop the gloves into a pail full of disinfectant. Take your goggles off and maybe hang them on the clothesline, outside. Or possibly put them on in the dash of your car up in the sunshine or something like that. You guys will have to figure it out for yourselves exactly what to do with these items. But the gloves, I would drop them into some disinfectant because they're mostly made out of rubber anyway. But don't make the disinfectant too strong or it's going to burn your skin. And don't get the disinfectant on you, whatever disinfectant you use. You got to be careful about these caustic chemicals. It can be dangerous as well, So I hope we don't ever have to use these things here in North America. But they're already using these things in other countries like China right now. And there's a bit of a learning curve, Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.